Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back through daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about the Xinfin network, aka XDC. So let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So first and foremost, in regards to like the market, things are just kind of looking like sideways trading until something does happen. We're basically just kind of watching like the most boring show, if you will, until we do see like the next major price move. In regards to Xinfin, or if you will, XDC, we're basically at around the same price range as, Casper. It's actually pretty insane to actually think about that. Market cap on this thing is like $312 million. We came down recently back on the 30th down to almost 2 cents exact. Do I think that we can test that range yet again? Most likely. I mean, it's not like a big deal even if we do test it as well. It's like a half a cent, but again, I think that we have such a major opportunity ahead of us, especially in regards to like the future of XDC, the future of where we are headed digitally as well. We're going to be addressing in this video. We're going to be talking about some major central banks as well. So let's just dive in and let's stop wasting time and let's get into it. So first off, I just want to give a quick shout out to Jeremiah Crypto, because this is going to be the spotlight tweet for this video. So we are talking about major utility around XDC. I think that a lot of people really kind of confuse the idea on like, where XDC actually is headed in regards to not only like adoption, but also like even in regards to like the utility around it. I don't think that people really realize how, revolutionizing it actually is to not only like trade finance, but other major sectors as well. What we do see here is specializing in trade finance, ISO 222, ITFA membership, hybrid blockchain public and private, smart contracts, NFTs, TradeFinX, DSL, and R3 Corda, issue/tokenizing assets, currency bridge, 2,000 transactions per second, green crypto, low fees, growing with XRC20. And yes, like when we really kind of look at, XDC, there is so much happening on the ecosystem that I don't think that a lot of people are really kind of paying attention to that. They're just kind of focused on trade finance, and I get it. Trust me, like, it's almost like looking at XRP, for an example. And the reason why I bring that up with XDC is just kind of as a good example base point, because they're both kind of focused on one major industry. But it's almost like looking at XRP and just being like, all right, well, this is only utilized for cross-border payments. Because again, like that is the main bread and butter, if you will, of the token. But there's so much more utility around XRP and even XDC itself. So to me, like, it doesn't make sense to just kind of, box ourselves in around trade finance, as there's so many other opportunities that XDC could basically shine within. Now, also, in regards to this, though, we have been seeing the network grow rapidly in regards to Xinfin. Shout out to West Beefield, LA, but we do see XDC now has over 10,000 contracts, up 33 just from yesterday. We also have 9,500 XRC20 tokens deployed on the network. Now, again, this is very good, as we guys do see down here as well. Like, we have the active addresses, contracts, stuff like that. But the reason why this is actually pretty good for the network itself is simply because more adoption of the network, more usability on the network, more volume, all accounts for more value as well. I've always said this, like the network effects, I don't think that people really, realize the network effects. Like there could be a multiplier on the price per these tokens once the network is actually being utilized properly with a nice amount of volume moving on it as well. So this is why I do focus on like tokens like XDC, for an example, that are getting overlooked, because at some point in time you will see mass adoption of some of these networks. It doesn't have to be, a massive number of individuals either. Like we're talking about 2,000 transactions per second here. Even if we got to like 1,000 transactions per second use case, which, some of the major partnerships that they do have already could easily account for that, then it's game over. Now, also, we do see over here, the XDC network will bridge the legacy system to a digital world by utilizing the DASL Me bridge. Sorry. And, to me personally, I think that this tweet down here is actually pretty, significant. We do see, wouldn't they be utilizing Q&T Overledger? They're the interoperability solution for R3 and just added support for XDC network. We do see Q&T is a layer 2 token, so no. But this is actually false in regards to like, the token itself. It's not the token that's going to be utilized. It's the software. The Overledger itself is what is going to interconnect. And I do think that this is actually a fair comment, and I actually think that this is something that we should focus on. So let me kind of break this down. In regards to the XDC network, this bridge is more so of a bridge to actually utilize XDC as a tokenized, or not a tokenized, as a settlement token. Sorry. And it's completely diverse in in the sense of like connecting like the legacy system to DLTs. And I think that the initial tweet here is actually a little bit off. Do I think that XDC is going to bridge a large portion of the financial sector? Yes, I do think so. And it's going to be through R3 because, again, remember, when we talk about R3, there's been major connections through, Quant with R3 itself. The way that I look at this is that we will see XDC being utilized as a settlement token, but the underlying technology behind this is not only through the DSL bridge with R3 Corda, but if you wanted XDC, for example, to be utilized as a settlement token outside of this partnership itself, because again, Xinfin network is basically already interconnected with R3 Corda through DSL, which we've talked about, and also like even Impul. But if it was anything outside of R3 Corda, that's where Quant will basically be a part of. And yes, this could happen with many partnerships, but I still believe that Quant is going to be the interconnectivity or the interoperability layer beneath all of it to make everything run seamlessly. But of course, in regards to like the R3 Corda ecosystem, yes, this is a very large ecosystem nonetheless. 300 plus firms drives cross-industry collaboration. Again, this is very large names to like delivery partners, infrastructure tech providers, core dApps, ecosystem participants as well. And you guys can see some of the scope around some of these names like HSBC, Wells Fargo, Barclays, for an example, just to mention a few. And then, of course, you do see like Finastra down here, which I've mentioned Finastra 100 times at least on this, channel. And then, of course, like Accenture as well. Like these are very large names that do transact quite a bit. Again, like I don't think that people are really kind of paying attention to the scope of like R3 connected with Xinfin. It's going to be a very large connection, and I do think that the bridge through DSL is actually going to be a very large initiative. Now, also, I share with you guys this from the BIS. There are now 4 live retail CBDCs in the world and pilots in 29 jurisdictions. 72 central banks have communicated publicly about their CBDC work, and the tone of speeches is more positive. And yes, 100%, 72 central banks are now ready, but there's so many more banks out there still left to announce that they are ready. The reason why I bring this up and the reason why I talk to you guys about this is that 90% of the central banks around the world have already, approved a CBDC. We are marching into a digital age of banking and finance. So when we look at this, where's Xinfin located in this entire broad spectrum? Well, it's fairly simple. In a digital infrastructure, you will need a digital document, tokenizing, or if you will, solution. And that is XDC and Xinfin's main focus here. Digitizing trade documents. This is a very large use case as well, because it goes beyond trade, finance as well. Any document will be digitized at some point in time. Now, talking about this, we actually do see a major update from TradeTech. TradeTech has achieved SOC2 Type 1 attestation, which, talking about this in regards to like where we are headed with sustainability, this is key. But we do see here more step-by-step in the right direction for TradeTech. This is good for investors, good for trade finance, good for XDC. And 100%, we do see, we're proud to announce that we have achieved SOC2 Type 1 attestation. This is the latest addition to our security credentials and demonstrates our commitment to protecting and managing customer data at the highest industry standard. Like I said, sustainability-wise, from a security standpoint, this is crucial. And they do break this down fully, but something that really kind of jumped out to me, right, was, not only are they confirming that the platform is utilized by banks, and all of those major players as well around trade finance, but down here, we actually do see this. So Simon Needham, Chief Technology Officer at TradeTech, comments, "We handle high volumes at sensitive data on a daily basis, and safeguarding and protecting the data has always been paramount of us. Achieving this SOC2 standard is an important milestone, providing further evidence of our ongoing commitment to security. Alongside our extensive existing credentials, it gives our clients further assurance that we have rigorous controls in place around, how we collect, use, and distribute their information. Now, when we look at this, the thing that stands out to me is high volumes. Okay, I really want to have a little bit more of an insight on that and the sheer amount of volume that they do handle on a day-to-day basis, because that will actually help us determine how much will actually move over Xinfin, if you will. Now, of course, like I said, TradeTech is probably one of the largest connections that Xinfin does have in regards to connections to the banking and financial district. But we could definitely see some major steps being taken forward within the trade finance area in regards to digitization. And yes, Xinfin is at the forefront of this, and I think that this is great to see. Now, last but not least, I do want to share with you guys this diagram. Now, I know that this is going to look a little bit rough at first, but I want to break this down a little bit more. So this is from, and I'm not even going to try to say this, Twitter user's name, but also Utility Theory did help with this. But here is how every single document within the trade finance area, for example, is going to be digitized. So here's a few of the major players around the trade finance area: ICC, ITFA, TFDI, for example, Trade Finance Global. We do see, TradeTech at the forefront, powers TFDI basically as well. And again, you could see all about the platform in regards to businesses, banks, non-banks as well. These are very large names. We see Andre Kasserman basically at the forefront of this. Also, major banking clients, major financial institutional clients as well. These are all of the major players that basically provide services and things like that. Of the TFDI as well and trade tech platforms. Excuse me. But then we do see up here. So here is Anigio's Trace Original DDoC application layer. So originators upload assets to TradeTech and are automatically allocated to investors through API and direct database connections. Follow this up by step 2. The assets are repackaged as an NFT token that represent the off-chain assets over a decentralized blockchain network, which again, this is the breakdown of the Xinfin standard around tokenization with TradeTech. This is TradeTech with Xinfin. And then we do see 3 institutional investors buy NFT tokens. The new tokens holder receives legal entitlement to an asset or package of assets. And then we do see, I don't think that there is a step 5, but this is basically from 1 to 4, the entire process broken down, all running through Xinfin. And of course, when you look at all of the people that are providing volume to this in regards to just some of the names, you could see how large of a use case this actually is when you technically look at it like this, when it's kind of all laid out in front of you. And I know that this could be a little bit confusing to the typical eye, but when you really kind of break this down just from start to finish and you look at the names here, you could just kind of imagine the amount of volume that is running over some of these banking clients in regards to trade finance or even document wise. And this is going to kill paper documents. We are going to usher into a digital age of documentation, and I know that that is a boring use case. I know that things like this could be boring because it's not cross-border payments that are over a $156 trillion market, but this is still something that needs to be addressed. We're marching us into a digital age of finance and banking, as we have been seeing from the BIS, for example. So with this in mind, we will need digital documentation. So with all of that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because I'm more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As it's up to you all, have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are on this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.